Now, today is World Widows Day. It's a day set aside by the United Nations since 2011 to draw attention to the voices and experiences of widows and to galvanize support for their needs. The day comes as an opportunity for action towards achieving full rights and recognition for widows. This includes providing them with information on access to a fair share of their inheritance, land and productive resources, pensions and social protection that are not based on marital status alone, decent work and equal pay and education and training opportunities. The United Nations says empowering widows to support themselves and their families also means addressing social stigmas that create exclusion and discriminatory harmful practices. Let's talk this through by speaking with an executive coordinator at Jokia Isat Falabi Foundation for Luke Ademoko, who is joining me now. Thank you so much for joining us on TVC News at 1. Now, the United Nations said that there are over 258 million widows around the world, out of which many are left unsupported and denied their basic rights. Talk to us about how recognizing this reality and marking this day will help solve their plight.
Thank you so much for having me. I am happy that once again we are commemorating the International Widows Day. It's an important day to commemorate because it provides the space for the discussion that we are having. You just in your intro gave us the data, the statistics of what the United Nations said, but can we say the same thing in Nigeria? Can Nigeria say categorically this is the number of widows that are in Nigeria? And that's why we are having this discussion, so that we can begin to highlight those issues, highlight those priorities, those needs that we need to focus at to be able to reduce the inequality gap and also eliminate stigmatization against widows. So I think we're on the right path, that this day provides the opportunity for that, for us to have a dialogue that will be meaningful, that will help to empower widows more. Because like earlier on in your report, you were talking about insecurity. If you don't take care of the household, you will always have foot soldiers for violence, and that's what is happening. So government needs to focus more. We as a people, we need to focus more on widows, on their households. Look at the issue of education, of economic empowerment. The demographics of widows are changing. They are no longer the 80-year-olds, 60-year-olds. You have 20-year-olds. You have widows that are lesser than 20. Why? Because of insecurity, because of violence, because of pandemic, because of non-communicable diseases, changes in our lifestyle, the way we eat, hypertension, diabetics, accidents on the highway are contributing to us having younger widows. And it is important that we change our strategies in the way we attend to the issues that pertain to widows. And that's why I think this space of the International Widows Day is a viable space to use to begin to engage more and to begin to find solutions to the issues that we have. We must address it. We must use this opportunity to address it. And thankfully, the media is also game on this. But I'm urging the media to please pay more attention to what is happening to the widows, because eventually it drops off negatively on us as a nation. We need to reduce the inequality gap, the human inequality gap that we are experiencing, particularly in our country, Nigeria. We must do something differently. We can't afford to do what we have been doing before.
If you can hear me, that's the reason we are having this conversation. And then we know that there are several issues, the widows are actually facing. And one of it is actually to be able to raise their children alone. And some are also stigmatization by the people who are supposed to protect them and other issues that you mentioned. So talk to us about what more you think can be done to promote policies which would definitely favor those who are widows.
Well, one thing that we need to do better, which we are doing now, it's for the media to begin to highlight, this problem, because now we have a problem, but nobody's, paying attention. It's until you have violence like we have, we had at Owo, then we begin to react. We must hold our government accountable. Accountability is key to resolving these issues. In terms of gender budgeting, in terms of allocation to women's programs. And I keep saying this, women should not be treated homogeneously. We are not one homogeneous group. there are intersecting, there are intersections that must be addressed. We found out that widows who have low education, widows who have no gainful means of employment, they tend to be poor. They tend to lack access to medical care because you have to pay for health services.
Yeah.
So that means that as government design programs for women, government, should begin at local, state, and federal level, should begin to pay attention to widows. How many of them have their children in school? They can't afford it. So do we have scholarship schemes to take care of widows? Government, state governments, federal government, they have housing schemes. How many of these houses are possessed or are owned by women, are owned by widows? So we must pay attention to data. All of us must work together to begin to generate data, because with data, government can, intervene.
Absolutely. These are indeed questions that are begging for, lots and lots of answers, which we look forward to seeing those in authority to be able to handle these issues the way we expect them to do. Executive Coordinator Ajoke Aishat of Afolabi Foundation for Luke Ademokun, thank you so much for your insights on this.
Thank you for having me, TVC.